Portland City Councilors today narrowly passed a proposal to send $87 million to the county's Joint Office of Homeless Services over the next 3 years. It was 3-2 in the vote. The big sticking issue is whether the county office actually listens to the city or just ignores their wishes. There's also the backdrop of politics. Everyone on Portland City Council, except for Mayor Ted Wheeler, is running for some sort of an election. So yes, they each had a lot to say. You can watch the entire thing if you want on YouTube, but we've brought you what we think are their strongest arguments for and against. Let's start with Rene Gonzalez, who has insisted that the county quit giving the homeless tents and tarps, since city workers later have to come through and clean them up. This contract requires a new joint city-county policy on tent and tarp distribution, as well as new guidelines for handing out things like syringes and drug kits.
I collaborated, and out of respect for the work of the mayor's team have done over the last year with our partners in the county, I do not believe perfection should stand in the way of progress. Following this, I received encouraging news from the county chair that they will be halting new purchases of tents and tarps while we work to establish clear guidelines around their continued distribution. If the county is going to compromise and work with us to move the ball forward in good faith, I will see where the road takes us, to October 15th at least. While I remain firm on these expectations for milestone review and determination, I'm also hopeful about the work we might achieve together in the meantime. I vote aye.
Gonzalez is running for mayor. So is Mingus Mapps, who voted no.
Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot more time today refuting the mayor's and the county chair's arguments, because frankly, everyone on this council knows that they are disingenuous. And we know they're disingenuous because on the first reading of this item, this council had a frank conversation about why the city of Portland is sending $87 million to the joint office without giving the county any direction on how those funds should be spent. The mayor told us in clear terms that $87 million is an ante the city of Portland pays in order to purchase the privilege of sitting on the Homeless Services Oversight Committee. Frankly, I find that logic to be shocking and horrifying. I don't believe that this is how the city should do business. Doing so is frankly a departure from normal business practices. It's a departure from good business practices. And I fear it is also a departure from ethical business practices, which is why I vote no.
Carmen Rubio is also running for mayor. She voted yes.
I also want to reiterate my position related to tents and tarps, since that issue has garnered so much attention. As I shared with county leadership weeks ago, a tent and tarp policy must be shaped and implemented responsibly, a policy where we can reduce them over time as shelter beds increase. We first must know how, when, and to whom tents and tarps will be distributed, which involves more than 80 organizations that have their own policies, not dictated by the joint office. Then, after evaluating how organizations are approaching this work, we need to take into account the availability of shelter beds. This is how we can balance accountability with the reality of needing to protect humans from the elements.
And Dan Ryan is running for city council. He said the council is letting the public down, and he voted no.
We are not delivering on your expectations. My amendment asked for one behavioral health expert who is not on the county payroll, one business sector representative who helped pass SHS funding in 2020 and has since felt left out, and one individual taxpayer with a lived experience in homelessness or behavioral health recovery. My call for transparency, accountability, and good governance was met with fear and pushback. I learned that sadly, there are those who feel my friendly amendment disrupts the balance of power. Well, that's exactly the point. System change work happens when you shake up the existing system of power, and that starts with changing who has a seat at the table. As amended, we'll be signing up for agreement that has not been working, because for the most part, we'll be signing up for more of the same.
By the way, Ryan's amendment to add those 3 positions to a steering committee within the joint office did pass, but 2 other people were also added who he thinks will support the status quo. All 5 of those new members will not be able to actually vote on the policy, so their inclusion is, let's say, symbolic. Finally, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler voted yes on the Intergovernmental Agreement, or IGA. He is not running for anything.
Finally, I've heard a lot of reasons why we should not support this IGA. And I respect all of my colleagues in the decisions that they have made, whether they have supported this or whether they did not support this. But what I've not heard over the course of the last year is, if not this, then what? What is the viable alternative? How would we support people with addiction? How would the city of Portland work with people who have severe mental health issues? What housing would we be navigating people to in the absence of a relationship with the county? From my perspective, we're at a time in history, we are in a time of such skepticism of government, particularly local government. We as leaders can't get on the bandwagon of, no, we can't do it. We can't do this, we can't do that, we can't do anything. It's our job to plow through the no and get to the yes and figure out where we can leverage off of each other and where we can be successful. Even if it's a highly imperfect system, an imperfect system is better than no system at all.
The City Council will have a chance to review how the joint office is doing 3 months from now and get out of the agreement if they really don't like what's happening. Multnomah County Commissioners still have to give the final approval on the amended deal, which is expected later this month.